Many locals are sitting on a pile of cash and earning zero interest, where instead they should be looking for ways to invest it, said DBS Private Bank Chief Investment Officer Lim Se-boon. He was addressing over 600 people who turned up at the Sunday Times Invest Seminar 2013.
The first great rotation is the rotation out of cash. So many people are still sitting on cash at zero interest rates. That includes, I bet you, most of you here, right? Most of you here are still suffering negative real interest rates every year, year in, year out, until you, how do you say? Until you cannot take it anymore. That's when you buay tahan. That's when the first great rotation starts, right? I would advise clients to start to gradually take some money off your bonds and direct them into stocks.
Mr. Lim was one of the guest speakers at the second Invest Seminar presented by DBS on Saturday. Here are some highlights from the 4-hour-long event.
Mr. Lim, any thoughts on why Singaporeans, are not taking out their cash, and investing in alternative assets?
Well, there are a number of reasons. One being that we have had a very under-participated bull market. There's been a lot of mistrust of this bull market with good reason. Because whilst prices were going higher, people were very clear there were structural problems in the euro area relating to government debt and deficit. There were problems relating to the household sector in the US, the over-leverage in the US. So people have been skeptical, fearful of another Lehman moment. That didn't occur. They were fearful of the collapse of the euro. That didn't occur. So one by one, we have dealt with each of these fears and seen each of these threats dissolve as we approach these threats. I called it the reverse Titanic. It's all about the iceberg, but as soon as the ship sails closer to the iceberg melts away. So it's all tip and no iceberg. So the markets have been skeptical, so they've hung on to cash. They've hung on to cash waiting for the next big crash. They're going to get used to the fact that the big crash isn't going to come. So that's when they're going to take a more realistic approach and buy whenever there is an opportunity to buy cheaper and not at absolute bargain sort of prices that you saw in 2009. You will not see those prices again.
If you want to buy a property in Iskandar, you might want to think about Nusa Jaya, where it's near Puteri Harbour.
I was very pleased with the response and the turnout today. Many of the investors are very technically savvy. They asked a lot of questions about equities, in particular Forex, and still showing that Singaporeans are very interested in property. They asked a lot about property, whether they should invest overseas.
The Invest Seminar is expected to return for the third run next year. Watch our other clips for more on currency fluctuations and how it may affect your investment.